Yes, well, we are in all the boards of the companies we hold, obviously. We always are controlling shareholders, so we have at least 60-70% of all our companies, so we are very, very much involved, not just in the board, which is something which happens once a month, or perhaps once a proper board once each 3 months, but on daily basis, helping those companies we buy to professionalize them. So normally we buy, all but one in the last fund were family owned, and when you buy a family owned company, are many things that you need to change, not just the culture, the way they produce. Typically we would change the way they work at the production site, about financing, about strategy. Prior to enter, we need to align the strategy with the one that is going to drive those boards, which is the CEO. And it's extremely helpful for us having them fully aligned from the very beginning. Another thing that we do, and it's quite helpful, is that we have always an industrial advisor at board level, which helps us on this transformation that we need to push into these companies we buy. So with the help of these independent kind of industrial advisors that belongs to Portobello, and ourselves, we are pretty much helping those companies to change and to professionalize in order to make them grow, to make them global, to lead those niches or sectors by buying and building in a very fragmented sector as we have in Spain, a very fragmented country in terms of little companies, and then also internationalization, its capital in the value creation of our company. So this is driven by the board, but the board is, I would say, an online and absolutely continuous board from the effective day of the board to the next one. So, yes, at the moment, I believe we have 12 companies. We have a big organization now. We are 24 people. We are 14 in the investment team. We are many partners, so we share those companies. We always have at least 2 partners in each of the companies in order to have a double view, both from the starting point, execution, due diligence, and then during the 4, 5, 6 years that we are with them. Last time in the 2014 fund, which is Portobello Fund 3, we told the investors that we would be getting value and advantage of how the market was like in Spain. So we told them that we would be investing in 3 years, and we've achieved it 2 months before. So we would be closing the investment period with the 9th investment that we did some weeks ago. We've already divested the first company, which was not obviously in the budget. Normally we never think that we are able to sell a company in 2 years, but it's true that in this particular case we need to count not just the 2 years since we paid, but also the previous 2 years where we were chasing the families in order to get a proprietary deal in a fragmented sector, which is like many others in Spain, which in this particular case is care homes. But we've been able to more than double the company, the number of care homes, the number of the EBITDA, and then we've found a good opportunity to anticipate an exit. So I would say that situation remains almost the same in Spain. We are very few investors chasing a lot of deals. Still, Spain is a market in which you find many family-owned companies. 65% of GDP are small and medium-sized family-owned companies. Very little but if you find a good platform, it's easy to create value by enhancing the leadership in that niche by buying and building in these fragmented industries that we find in Spain. So a great opportunity for private equity going forward, as good as the last years. So positive, and that's why we are raising now Fund 4. We would be making a first close in the coming days, so we would have dry powder to continue with the same view, which is creating value in Spanish companies by making them industry leaders and then selling them eventually, or trade buyers willing to put a leg in Spain, or even pan-European funds willing to create a bigger platform prior to IPOing those companies. So the machine continues to run, and in a very positive way. The local market now has much less uncertainty that they had 3-4 years ago. Obviously, we've proven to grow in Spain in a quite stable manner. We are creating jobs. We are decreasing the unemployment, which was probably the most serious problem that we had in Spain. We have the banks again lending money. We have all these companies that now are willing to get a push from private equity and get capital to grow. So that's positive. We have an almost stable government. In Spain, the good thing is that all the political parties believe in Europe, so we don't have any problem in that manner. We have populisms, but at least those believe in being in Europe, which is keeping Spain like a kind of safe haven in respect of political stability. Of course, it's true that we have potentially external problems that might arise from other populisms in other countries. Always the sad terrorism that might affect. We are a service-based country. We have tourism and leisure. Tourists coming every year, twice the size of the country in number of people visiting us every year, 75 million people last year. Of course, all this could be affected if for whatever reason something happening abroad. But I think that at the end are risks that you need to share, and you need to keep them always. No? You need to adapt. This is a long haul. We buy companies to keep them creating value for many years. It's true that a year could come with a deep down or whatever, but you have good teams. Those teams are able to be flexible and to adapt to the markets. We are therefore helping them there to adapt strategy, to move things, to improve the financing, to whatever. So, well, we need to count on those risks, but be prepared to handle with them. And well, hopefully we won't have any external bad noise. But well, the world is getting complicated. But at least inside, we are pretty sure that things are going to be quite stable in the coming years. I have to say that I am quite surprised, not just because of the enormous amount of people that had come. I don't know if 200 people, but it's a lot. This reflects the attractiveness of the Southern Europe and in particular Spain, the Spanish market for private equity, but also the international people that I've seen. So, well, the official language of the conference is English, which I realized yesterday, because these kind of conferences normally are quite local. No? So you see people that you see every day, but I'm surprised of the amount and the quality of investors coming from abroad, visiting us and coming here to share our views on the market, which is very positive, and hope to continue. Probably 4 years' time, this would be empty, but now I think that things are moving in the right direction.